Hello and welcome to today's call. This is Stacy Kellums and I'm going to be your host, and I've got an amazing training session lined up for you this week. I'm super excited about this week's call because, as you can tell by looking at your screen, this week's call is with a gentleman by the name of Jack Bosch, and Jack is going to be teaching us tonight a system that I have never exposed any of my members to before. So I'm super excited to have Jack on because he's going to be quite literally showing you a system tonight that you have never been exposed to on my list before. So I'm excited, and honestly, I've just recently became exposed to Jack's system myself. I heard a lot about him. There's a big buzz in the industry about this guy named Jack Bosch, and I actually heard about Jack through a good friend of mine named Michael Kimball, and Michael had nothing but great things to say about it, and I respect Michael's opinion 120%, and I was like, I got to meet this guy, Jack. I got to find out what he's doing. He's obviously doing something different, and as you know, if you've been on my calls before, that's what I'm all about. I'm about showing you things that are different, that are working right now in today's environment. I'm not interested in showing you the things that worked 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I want you to see and find out about things that are working right now, and that's exactly what Jack's going to do for you. So let me tell you just a little bit about Jack before I turn it over to him. Jack is he's literally the embodiment of the American dream. I've got a tremendous respect for him, and the reason I've got a tremendous respect for anybody who comes to America and stakes their own claim, and that's exactly what Jack has done. I've said it before. You've probably heard me say it before. I say it all the time. We live in literally the best country in the world where people can come over here with nothing more than just a few dollars in their pocket and become millionaires, and that's exactly what Jack did. Let me tell you what he did. He moved to America from Germany. He literally only had 2 suitcases with him when he moved over here in 1997. He had 2 suitcases and a bunch of student debt, and that was it. He came to America, and within 18 months of arriving in America, he became a millionaire. Now, if that's not the American dream, I don't know what is. And he started investing in real estate and started creating his current system that he's going to teach you tonight in 2000. And since then, he's done over 5,500 deals. That's absolutely amazing that he's done that many deals in such a short amount of time. And it's also amazing, and it's a real testament to him as a person for how quickly he became a millionaire once he got to this great country. So, you know, I've said it before, people, those of us who grow up here in America, we take a lot of stuff for granted, and I can't wait to hear Jack's story, and I can't wait for you to hear Jack's story so he can show you exactly how he went from 0 to over $1 million in profits in 18 months. He's got students all over the world. He mainly works from his home. So that's good news for those of you who are interested in working from your home. He's got students all over the world. In fact, he's got students in New Zealand who live as far away as New Zealand, and they're working the system from the comfort of their home. So Jack just recently started sharing this powerful information less than a year ago, or right at about a year ago. So you're going to want to pay special attention, get your pen and paper ready, because Jack is going to share with you some stuff tonight that you have never heard before. I guarantee you've never heard it before. You've never heard it on any of my calls, and Jack has only been sharing this information for a relatively short amount of time. So I'm very, very, very positive you have not heard this stuff before. So get your pen and paper ready and get ready to take lots of notes. You're going to learn a ton of great information today. Jack, thank you so much for being on the call. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much. It was a very kind introduction. I'm excited, yes, to be here. And if it's okay with you, I'll jump right into it.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and just jump right in.
All right. Thank you very much, Stacy. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Jack Bosch, and I'm very honored to be here on the call. Yes, I know. For example, you mentioned Stacy. You mentioned Michael Kimball. Yes, I have the same respect for him that I have that you have for him. He's a great guy, and obviously by association, I know you are too. And we had the pleasure of talking quite a few times before now, and getting to know each other a little bit. So I'm very thankful that I'm here, that I have the privilege of being able to share my information here with your students. So I'm going to talk fairly quickly, really fast. I'm going to talk fairly fast, and I have a lot of information to go through. So let's make sure that you all have your notes ready, have your pen and paper ready, because we're going to jump right in. So here's where we're going to start today. What we'll learn today is how to buy land at 75 to 95% below market value, and sometimes even free. So yeah, you heard that right. How to get free land. Now, who out there would like to get free land? Well, great. So am I. So I'm going to show you exactly how you get free land here. So I'm also going to show you how to do this with virtually no competition. Now, if you've been out there in the foreclosure market or anything like that, I mean, anything that is like less than 50 people is considered less competition. Now, what I'm going to show you is where the places where you have the sellers writing you thank you notices for taking the property off their hands, and then you turning around and selling it a week later for 10 times what you bought it. So, and where you're basically the only game in town. Well, I'm going to show you how to buy these properties free and clear with no mortgage directly from the owners and sell them within days for profits. That's what we're going to go through today. Now, this system that I'm going to talk to you works for land and homes. So the system works for land and lower-priced homes, but the majority of deals that I've done, and I've done over 5,531 deals, and probably 5,500 of those deals actually have been land. So literally like 99% of that has been land. Now, I didn't start out like that. I actually wanted to just go after property, but then I realized that mostly in the price range that we're dealing with, it's mostly land. And after time, I started realizing that that was actually a blessing in disguise. Because why land? Because number one, you don't have to deal with the big 3 T's. No tenants, no toilets, no termites. None of that you have to deal with. So number two, you can't steal or destroy land. I mean, try to vandalize land. What if somebody wants to go and get a bucket of land from my land, and he steals a bucket? Guess what? There's another bucket right underneath it. You own the land all the way to the center of the earth. So therefore, there's no problem if somebody wants to take something from it. Now, also, land does cash flow. Most people, even seasoned investors, look at me when I say that and think, Jack, you're crazy. But now I'm going to show you tonight in this presentation here how you can make land cash flow. You just need to know how. There's minimal competition because in any market, and particularly in this market, most investors are running after the foreclosures, the short sales, and things like that, and barely anyone goes after land. However, the dream of property ownership is well and alive in this country, and people would love to have a piece of land. Let me ask you, wherever you are, if you live like in the northern states, how does it sound to have an extra 5 acres in California where you have a little cabin on, or you built over the years a cabin? How does it sound to have an extra 10 acres in Tennessee, in Florida, or in Arizona or something like that? Whenever I talk to people that live in states where it's kind of cold and things, they're like, oh wow, that would be cool. That would give me some bragging rights with my friends. But just that's just the normal John Blow out there that basically that basically would like to have a land. Well, but there's tons of people that would like to have some land. And the other thing is why land is minimum upkeep and maintenance. I flip my land pretty quickly, but I also have about 150 pieces of land that I own that I don't want to sell. These are pieces of land. They're right in the path of growth, pieces of land that I bought for $1,800. They're worth $100,000 right now. And even through this economy and through this market, they're probably going to worth $200,000 in just a matter of 5 years or so, because the cities are where the location where this is, it's growing in that direction. And you'll come across deals just like that, and I'll show you how. So there's minimum upkeep, and the point is that even though I have 150 of these properties, plus about 50 properties that I just bought that I'm ready to sell right now, so about 200 properties, the amount that I have to spend of time and effort to keep these up and maintain them is virtually zero. So that's why I love land, because you don't really have to deal with anything of that.
That's true. When I go out, Jack, to look at all my rental property, it takes me all day to drive by and make sure people aren't tearing it up. You pretty much know that unless it caught on fire, your land's okay.
Absolutely, and then depending where you have it in the country, there's not much on there that can burn down. But,
right.
But in the desert of Arizona, but yeah, I have a few rental properties myself, and yeah, I spend probably 20 times as much time.
Oh yeah.
Making sure that these are okay than I spent on my 200 pieces of land. So. But just to quickly, so basically most of these properties, the way I'm going to show you to buy them, cost less than $2,000 to buy. Now, a $2,000 property, if you buy it, should be worth $20,000 or more. Some of them are as little as $289, and some of them as little as $57, and some even for free. And I'm going to show you case studies and all this kind of stuff. For example, here's a vacant land sale agreement that I received on May 12th of 2009. You see that it says here April 2020. It's when we made the offer, and we actually get it accepted in May 12th, 2009. The purchase price is $289.65. Now, this property is probably worth, I would say, about $7,000. Now, how would you like to buy a property for less than $300, less than what it is to have a car payment, and then turn around and sell it for probably even as a quick sale for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000? If you do it a retail sale at $6,000 or $7,000, make $5,000, $6,000 on one deal. Now, how many listening would like to do that? Well, how would you like to do that all day long? Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Exactly. So you already mentioned it that I was born and raised in Germany. My dad's a high school teacher. My mom's a stay-at-home mom. Now I only mentioned that for you to not think that I was like born with a silver spoon in my mouth. No, I didn't grow up rich. I grew up in a nice, normal, middle-class family. My parents actually kept me quite tight and didn't give me a whole lot of money to spend. I think even when I was 16 or 17, I had like the equivalent of $20 a month to spend. And that's how I grew up, basically. So I never grew up rich, never grew up. My first car I bought, I think, when I was 25 years old or something like that. But there's public transportation in Germany, so you don't really need a car. But I came to the U.S. in 1997, as you mentioned, and I basically came with 2 suitcases of very bad English. My English was so bad that even 2-3 years after I came into the country, even 2-3 years afterwards, I went when I started reading about real estate investing. I came across the word deed, and I was like, what is that? Deed? Like, I had heard the word deeds, but that was Sundays in church. When I heard the word deed, it was like there's good deeds and there's bad deeds, and you should always do only good deeds. And I was like, what does that have to do with real estate? So I went around and I asked some friends, and they're like, oh, no. You got to understand, a deed is a document that transfers ownership from one person to another. It's like, oh. So this is my level of knowledge that I had when I started in real estate. So I had really bad English, and but then what happened is I came in to finish my college degree. Basically, I had started in Germany, and I wanted to finish it up, and then through an exchange university, and so I finished it up. But 2 things happened that I really didn't expect. I fell in love with the U.S. and with a girl. Now, the girl would have been perhaps expected because, I mean, there's a lot of pretty girls in this country. But I didn't really expect to fall in love with the U.S. I mean, I had lived in Germany, I had lived in Spain, I had traveled through Europe. It was nice. Many other countries are nice and so on. But what really struck me really hard in this country is that, just like you said, Stacey, that there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in this country. That is the best country in the world, not just from an opportunity point of view. Obviously, this is the land of opportunities. There's no other country where it's so easy than it is here to start your own business and to become successful in it. I truly 100% believe this.
Well, I know I was bragging on the U.S. in the intro, and of course I love it. I've lived here my entire life. But I was seriously going to ask you, Jack, could you have achieved the level of success that you have achieved as fast as you've achieved it in any other country that you've lived in?
I do not, absolutely not think so. Absolutely not. I mean, it might have, perhaps I want to think that I might have been able to achieve some level of success in other countries, but it probably would have taken me 3 to 4 times as long.
Yeah.
It would have taken me way longer than here. I mean, you guys, the Americans are so... are so wonderful people. They just sometimes underappreciate what they have. I mean, you know that you have it, but you don't underappreciate it. You know that you live in the best country, but you don't take advantage of it. So this is why we're here today, for me to show you how really a guy from Germany that is not particularly bright, that has bad English, has no money, comes into the U.S., and actually a small correction, it wasn't a millionaire 18 months after he came to the country, 18 months after I figured out my system. I was a millionaire. So I was here first to college, and then I got a job, and I'll go into that in just a second. But once I reached that point that I said, I got to do something. I got to do something myself, and I got to create a I got to do. Well, I can't rely on a job, basically. That's when I then figured out my system. That's from that point of view, 18 months later, I was a dollar millionaire. But just quickly to find, yeah, it would have not happened in another country anywhere close as fast as it did here. So right. I fell in love with the USA, and I fell in love with also a girl. Now, the girl, I was from Germany. She was from Central America. So we basically both here with just temporary visas, but we said, you know what, let's try it. We got jobs. And just to make a long story short, I want to quickly introduce my family. So things worked out. We met in 2007. We got married in 1997. We got married in 2001. Now we have a little baby daughter, almost 2 years old, named Sophia. It's my wife Michelle, and we're happily ever after, basically. So it worked out on all fronts, basically, just staying here. So it was worth it, and I just wanted to quickly introduce the pride of my life, basically, my wife and my baby daughter.
Beautiful family, beautiful.
Thank you very much. So as I mentioned, I got a job after college. Now I got a job in a technology company. Now I know nothing about technology, but I was more in their business department. So I worked lots of hours. I had to travel a lot, be at customer sites and so on. And if you remember what happened, I got that job in 1998. Do you know what happened in 2001? We had a little recession. And it was mainly a dot-com recession, right? It was a recession that had a lot to do with all the technology companies. So when I joined this company, we had 500 people. There were 500 people in that company. One was number 500. 2 years later, this company had 7,000 employees. Well, guess what? A year later, they only had 4,000 employees. So they went down, went up crazy, times were good, and all of a sudden they had to cut down 3,000 people in 1 year. Now, I don't know, I mean, many of the listeners might be relating to that right now, because virtually you're seeing a similar situation right now. Now it's just much bigger. It's across the board. And what that did to me, I mean, it was probably, that year 2001 was probably, and part of 2002 was probably the worst year of my life, because I could see people being literally. You go to the office and you and at midday, 5 guys get a phone call, just get up, pack their stuff, and have to leave. And you're like, oh my God, is it going to hit me? When is it going to hit me? And here's the special situation: I am an immigrant. If you're not a citizen or you don't have the permanent residency, also typically called the green card, your visa is tied to an employer, and I don't know if many people know that. But the point is, I don't want to make it a long story, but the point is that if you lose your job before you have your permanent residency, you have 60 days to find another job. So I had 60 days if I would have been fired, I had 60 days to find another job, or otherwise I had to leave the country.
Wow.
Now, I just had married. I just got married in 2001. I just bought my starter home. I just had bought some furniture and not a new car, but a different car with payments and stuff like that. Everything was on payments. I literally had just about a 1 month worth of savings to live, about $3,000 worth of savings. That's it. And I was looking at that, and I was like, oh my God, if I lose this job right now, I mean, my wife didn't have a permanent residency. I didn't have a permanent residency. Where would we go? I didn't want to go to Honduras, which is a wonderful country, but my Spanish is not that good. And we didn't want to go to Germany back because it's so hard to like, with all the government bureaucracy and all the stuff. Like, we're like, no, we want to stay here. This is the place we fell in love with. So I was sitting there literally in hotel rooms, traveling a lot and so on. And I realized one thing. In that moment, it hit me like a ton of bricks. There is no such thing like job security. There is no such thing. Whether you have a green card that's PR citizen or not, or whether there is no such thing as job security. If push comes to shove, if the company needs to make changes, you're gonna be gone. And that is exactly what I was facing. Now, so I was sitting there and it's like, oh my God, so I realized that no matter what, I mean, I have to prepare. Basically, number one epiphany was, there is no such thing like a safe, secure job is an oxymoron. There's no such thing. And I realized that, and many of you out there right now are realizing that too, because everyone that I know knows somebody that has lost their job. I know people who lost their job, and in this situation right now, so I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's no job security. So what I realized is that not just that there's no job security, but also I could not rely on just that income. And then, and even if I save and things like that, I needed to have a plan B. I realized that I needed to have a plan B, and I think everyone needs to have a plan B in place. Because if you don't have a plan B is going to give you basically something that you built up while you still have a job, that if the put comes to shove and you lose your job, you can fall back to. And life looks completely different once you have that. So when I was sitting in this hotel room in the middle of the night, literally 2 at night, I realized I needed a backup plan. And I literally, I mean, in order just to keep my job, I was working from 8 a.m. to midnight, literally 8 a.m. to midnight. And then at midnight, I would go into my hotel room and I would study for 2 hours. I would study for 2 hours because I realized I need to find something. So I decided to start a business. I decided to start a business, but I didn't want to just have a business that runs me, because if you look at a lot of these, let's say, UPS stores or pizza parlors or whatever it is, little small businesses, typically what you see is that the owners work harder than when they had a job, make less money than when they had a job, and take less vacation than when they had a job. So really they have their business run them. And that perhaps if there was ever a stroke of genius in my life, that was that I realized that before I jump into something and start something that I could build on there, I have to stop and I have to say, okay, what is it that I want? What is it that you want? Let me ask you. What is it that you want? What is it in your life that is your priorities that you want to do? And once I sat down and decided that, I probably went through 20 different business models and looked at 20 different business opportunities before I decided on one of them. And but before I even decided on one of them, still that night in that hotel room, I sat down and I wrote down what is important for me in terms of a business. What does a business have to have? Basically, I started dreaming. I was like, okay, let me just dream. What is a perfect business going to look like? And I came up with 3 goals. Now, I didn't have a clue which business it's going to be. I just knew that if I want to start a business of myself, it needs to have these basically. These are 3 qualifiers that the business needs to qualify by. And I looked at bakeries. I looked at, hey, let's open a bakery. I'm from Germany. There's excellent bread. And back 10 years ago, there wasn't that much excellent bread in the U.S. It's about the only thing that there wasn't. Other than that, it's everything excellent. But by now, there's excellent bread here. But I'm not a morning person. I like to sleep in. So I was like, that's not going to work. And other than that, I couldn't see it qualifying to these 3 goals. Now, here are the goals. Number 1, make lots of money. I basically figured, hey, if I'm already going into business for myself, I'll better be worthwhile. Now, I want to pick something that I love, that I enjoy. That's important. But I also wanted to pick something that if I have multiple things that I like, the one that makes the most money. I mean, that to me made sense. Number 2, I needed to have something that I can put the business, it needed to be a business that I could put on autopilot. So let's look at the bakery. I couldn't see how that could be put on autopilot. I mean, you got to put the bread in every morning. You got to be there. You got to bake it. You got to sell it. So I couldn't see that working. And number 3, but the point before, putting business on autopilot really means that you put in systems and structures that you don't have to be there every day. And if you don't have to be there every day, that means you can take time off and spend it with what is really important in your life. And what is really important in your life? I don't know, but for me it's traveling. For me, it's spending time with my lovely wife and my baby daughter. For me, it's going and when friends and visitors come from Germany or from Honduras or so, being able to spend time with them, showing them the country, showing them this beautiful United States, showing them the Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, being able to just read. I love reading. So being able to work out, being able to do these things, being able to help charity, to volunteer time, being able to play music. I play music. I played music professionally. I played the clarinet. I played professionally in my youth of a year and a half. And so things like that, whatever it is. But number 3 then, whatever it is for you, it's fine, but it typically needs time. So if you have a business that's on autopilot, you can start doing these things. Taking vacations and so on. And number 3, creative passive income. And another word for passive income in my world is checks in the mail. I love checks in the mail because with checks in the mail, you don't have to work for the checks. So creative passive income, basically in a way, because now if you have these 3, if you make lots of money, the money comes in as passive income as in the mail, and your business is on autopilot, now you have not just time, you have time and money. And time and money is really a killer combination. It's a combination that I can tell you now from experience is what can, I mean, money can't buy you happiness, but it sure can remove some obstacles. For example, my wife Michelle, she does not like cleaning the house. Now, she does an awesome job cleaning the house. I mean, she cleans, she's a clean freak. She wants the house really, really clean, but she hates it. So guess what happens when cleaning day came along and we cleaned the house? She was in a bad mood all day. Guess what? A little money could really make the mood in the house much better, because now we have a cleaning lady that helps clean the house, and Michelle is in a much better mood all week long. You know what I mean? These are the little things that the little conveniences that help that help your life. And it doesn't cost that much to do that. And I'll show you exactly how you can get there in no time. So these three qualifiers, and once I had these three qualified, I played every single business possibility that I saw by them, and I disqualified most of them. And then I came across real estate. And when I came across real estate, I realized that might have the opportunity and the possibility to fulfill all three of these goals. Now, typically in real estate, passive income is taken care of by rentals, by rental income or so. But I realized soon after I started studying real estate, and I started all kinds of programs. I'm a big believer in continuing education. I probably spent $20,000 to $30,000 a year just on programs, on seminars, and things like that. Just going places and so on, coaching programs and so on. So not all real estate is created equal. Typically in real estate, I mean, there's some exceptions on it, but typically most real estate investing requires either credit. You need to have some kind of credit, because even if you have a hard money loan, they're going to check your credit. Cash, for most levels, you need some kind of a down payment, or even a hard money loan. They're going to ask you for some blood in the deal, basically money down payment, or you need to take on a mortgage. And as I just said, I had just bought my house. I just bought a car, which I was just building up my credit. I didn't have much credit, because if you come to this country from another country, you don't start with bad credit. You start with no credit. And no credit is just as bad as bad credit, because if you have no history, nobody's going to give you any credit. So I was just building up my credit, and I had outrageous interest rates, 13% on a car. So I would build up my credit on this thing. And so I just had put up just a few $1,000s of savings. And while I was studying that, my savings started increasing a little bit, but not much. And I was like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have much credit. And I certainly just don't feel like taking on yet another mortgage. I just put myself in a mortgage, in my first mortgage here on my house. So it's like, as a result, I really could not pull the trigger. Basically, I wasn't about to put my life savings on the line on a deal that I knew nothing about. I mean, I don't know, and I still to this day don't know if replacing a kitchen costs you $500, $5,000, or $10,000. I have no clue. If remodeling a bathroom costs $1,000 or $10,000, I have no idea. I don't know how all this stuff, how much that costs, and I certainly didn't back then. So as a result, I couldn't pull the trigger. I wasn't about to put my life savings on the line on something that I didn't know if it would actually at the end work out and I would actually make some money. So, but I still was intrigued by the real estate concept. So what I did is I moved on, and I learned more, and I studied more. The next thing I studied was tax delinquent property investing, basically tax liens and tax deeds. Well, when I looked at tax liens and tax deeds, and I just, if you don't know what they are, just to give you the 30-second summary, basically, in the United States, which is completely different than Europe. This is like wild, wild west. I mean, I mean this in a positive sense. But if you don't pay your property taxes, if somebody owns a piece of real estate and they don't pay their property taxes, guess what happened? If they don't pay their property taxes, the government ultimately will take the property away from them. That's what happens. Ultimately, the government will take the property away from them and will not. And they do that in one of two different ways. Either they do it through a tax deed sale, where they basically take the property after so many years of not having paid property taxes. The government takes the property away and sells it at public auction and wants to for the back taxes to recover what is owed to them. And that's one way. It's called a tax deed sale. The other one is a little more complicated, but not much. It's basically the government says, well, every year, well, I can't wait many years to sell the property. I need my money now. So what they do is they say, okay, let's say the outstanding taxes is $1,000. They say, okay, we're going to put these $1,000 taxes on an auction block and sell it, find an investor that gives us $1,000. In exchange, that investor will get a lien against the property worth $1,000. So basically, they don't sell the property; they sell a lien against the property that is in the amount of the taxes owed. And therefore, investors come in, get the lien, get a high interest rate, sometimes 24, 36%, and also, but if the owner still doesn't pay the property taxes over another few years, then that tax lien holder typically has the right to foreclose on the property and basically get the property just for the amount of back taxes owed. Now that is a cool deal. So the advantages of that is it's super low entry barrier. There's a super low monetary entry barrier, meaning that there's tax liens out there for $100, $200, $500, $1,000. There's properties at tax deed sale that you can buy, and I have bought, and I continue to buy properties at tax deed sale. Not much, like about 90 to 95% of my deal is actually done in a different way that I'm going to show you a little bit, but I still do some tax liens and tax deed sales. But you can buy properties for $500, $1,000 at the tax deed sale. You can buy tax liens for $100, $200, $500, $1,000. So it's really cheap, and there's huge profit margins in there. But the disadvantages are just, there's quite a few disadvantages. Number one, there's a lot of competition. Just recently I heard from a friend, they went to a tax deed auction in Houston, Texas, and there were 300 properties for sale, and they had 1,000 people show up. 1,000 people to bid on 300 properties. Now that's competition. Plus, there's also some issues with you don't get free and clear title to the property if you buy it to tax lien or tax deed sale. Plus, the main disadvantages are really those two here, that it takes years before a property or lien is being sold. For example, let's take California. California is a tax deed state. It has a redemption period of 5 years, meaning that the owner, after not paying the property taxes, has 5 years to still pay the property taxes before the state comes. It takes the property away from them. So the state can't do anything for 5 years. So here's the deal. If somebody in California decides today that for whatever reason, they don't want to pay these property taxes anymore. They don't want to put any more money into that property. They want to let this property go for property taxes. It'll take until 2015 before that property comes up for auction. Now, I don't know about you, but I would like to make money today, right?
Exactly.
Not 2015. And probably the other thing is that out of thousands of properties that are at the tax lien auctions or tax deed auctions, only a fraction actually goes to auction. Most of them get redeemed prior to auction. So I was sitting there again. I was still traveling. I was trying to figure out how this worked. I was again sitting in the hotel room in the middle of the night, and then again I looked at it and it's like, I like this, but I don't like the disadvantages. But I still like the concept that you don't have to put in your life savings, but you still have the ability to buy to have huge profit margins. So I was thinking about, well, how can I circumvent these disadvantages and let's just take advantage of the advantages? And what came up is it hit me like a brick of tons, and I realized that just in front of my eyes was the opportunity of the lifetime. And guess what? Nobody knew about it. Nobody knows about it. And I've been sharing it for 1 year right now. There's nobody else teaching this. And this is the only, there's only right now, before I started teaching this, there was like perhaps a handful of people doing this in the entire United States. And perhaps there's right now, I don't know, 100 or 200 people, but we have 50 states, and we have at any given time, we have over 11 million tax delinquent properties in the United States, and we have tens of millions of pieces of land in the United States. So this is like probably the biggest untapped market in the entire United States. And I figured out what the solution was. And the solution was what I call my land profit formula. It's an investment approach that allows anyone to buy for hundreds and sell for thousands and for $10,000s of dollars. This is just the basic summary of that. It's an investment approach that allows you to buy for hundreds and sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Now, the moment that I figured that out, from the moment that I had this epiphany till the moment that I really had figured out my system, it took me another almost 2-3 years. So that basically in 2003, the beginning of 2003, I had it figured out. And 18 months after that, I was a millionaire. 18
Wow.
months after I figured that out, I was a millionaire. And another thing has changed. Immediately after that, basically after I was a millionaire, it allowed me to move from my little starter home to this beautiful 4,200 square foot semi-custom home. Designer interior. We had the best designer to come. Well, in my opinion, as the best designer to design this thing inside out. It just looks. It's gorgeous. It's we wake up every morning as a guest casita. We wake up every morning. We thank God for having put this opportunity in our lifetime. And you know, sometimes the worst times of your life can become your best times of your life. So I think when I had this situation that I was in danger of losing my job, that I was sitting there not knowing if I would be fired, when I realized that I needed to have a plan B, that I needed to do something. I might not have had that drive to do this if I would have not been driven by the situation that I was in. Because I'm fundamentally lazy. I grew up thinking get a safe job and work until you're 65 and then retire. It was that situation that I was thrown in that made me change my outlook on this, and that made me realize that there is no such thing like a safe job, that I needed to do something different. And I would encourage you listening here right now to look at your life right now, look at your situation right now, and you don't have to go through the pain that I went through to actually get to that point. If you can understand it in your head, then you just need to put it in action. And here's what we're talking about. How is this different? How is this different than dealing in tax liens or tax deeds? Well, here's the thing. Here's the epiphany that I had. So if the owner gives up on the property, if the owner of the property doesn't want the property anymore, if they don't want to put any more money into that property, they just want to get rid of the property, right? Aren't they willing to walk away? What they're basically saying is they're willing to walk away from the property and get zero out of that property. Isn't that right? They're willing to walk away from that for zero. Now, here's the question that I have for everyone. Why in the world should I wait 5, 6 years before I can go and compete with thousands of people to buy this property, and after it has accrued already thousands of dollars in back taxes and fees and penalties like that? Let's take that same example in California. A property worth $20,000. At the day that the owner decides that he doesn't want that property anymore, the day that he decides that he wants to stop paying the property taxes, that property might have only $200 in back taxes. But if he waits 5, 6 years before that, and that property then comes up, that property for a tax deed auction, that property might have $10,000 worth of back taxes, fees, and penalties and things on it. It's very common that it accrues up to 50% of its value already. And now, not only do you have to pay 10 grand just to get it, you now have to fight with a few hundred other people to get it. My point is, why wait? What if you could find the owners of these properties? What if you could find exactly the people who do not want their properties anymore? What if you could find them not 5 years from now, but 1 or 2 months after they go delinquent? Or even better, what if you could find them before they even stop making their payments, property tax payments? What if you could find them when they're still diligently making their property tax payments, but when grudgingly, internally they say, you know what, I wish I would be, I think I'm just going to pay for 1 more year, and then I don't want to pay it anymore. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with these properties. I bought properties from people for $323, sold it for $35,000 afterwards. I bought properties for $400 from a lady that knew exactly what her property was worth, and then 2 weeks later, I sold it for $12,700. A property, quarter acre in a mobile home area with electricity, city water, sewer, everything in place. All you needed is basically pour a foundation and put up either a manufactured home or pull up a mobile home. That's all you needed to do in this place, and that's exactly what the person I sold it to did. These are things. So what if you could find these owners just a couple of months after they go delinquent, or even before they go delinquent, and then you contact them directly and buy the property directly from them? Now, the owners don't want them anymore. They're willing to walk away and get zero from them. So don't you think any offer that is above zero would be a great offer for them?
Absolutely.
That's exactly the key to this. This is what hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was sitting there, it's like, there's no need for me to compete with all the world. I can sidestep the competition, and you can sidestep the competition, and just go to these owners directly. If we can only figure out how to get a hold of these owners. And that's what I figured out. That's basically what I figured out. I figured out how to identify these people, how to target right into these people and identify them, isolate them out of the masses of property owners, and basically go and contact them directly and buy these properties for them for pennies on the dollar. Nobody knows this, therefore there's virtually no competition. So now, do you want to know the system steps?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's jump right in. I'm going to go give you all the full enchilada here. I'm going to give you all the system steps. Number one, you get a property list from the county. You get a list from the county. We're actually going to go step by step in just a second. I have slides for each step, so I'm going to just cruise through this very fast. You get a property list from the county or from the title company and so on. You select, you filter these property records. Then you send letters to the owners. The owners call you back. Then you do a quick online property checkup. You make your offers. You get them accepted. You buy the property, and then you sell the property. Sounds simple? Yes, because it is simple. It is simple. So let's go into these steps a little bit more in detail. Number one, you get a property list from the county. Number one, you can outsource this. So you get a list of property owners. You can go to sources like dataquick.com. You can go to title companies. You can go to list brokers, or you can get it from the county directly. Now, typically from the county, it's mostly the least expensive and actually sometimes even free option. There's some counties that even have their data sitting, especially in Florida, so they have their data sitting right on their webpage. You just need to go there and navigate there and basically download it. So this is how easy you get a property list from the county. Number two, you can now filter that. You can either use services like elance.com or guru.com or rentrecorders.com. You send them that database, and they basically filter it through it by the criteria you give them. And the criteria are wrong. There's a bunch of criteria like the size of the property, value of the property, where it's land, where it's homes, whether it's where the owner is located, et cetera, et cetera. And you can do that. You can outsource it, or you can hire a local high school kid that knows how to operate Microsoft Excel and some of these things and Microsoft Access, and pay them a few bucks to do it. Or I can actually do it for you. And if you want to, I can even do it for free for you. Now, who would like to have these lists be processed by me for free? Well, wonderful, and I'll show you in a little bit. Pardon?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Everybody should want you to do it for free because you know what you're doing.
Exactly, and I will actually show you in a little bit how you can get that done. So number two, you can contact. Number three is you contact the property owners. Now you send them a letter. Now you say I have a simple letter, and what you do, it used to be that there was a lot of folding, stuffing, licking, sealing, and putting stamps on it. Now there's services out there like www.click2mail.com that you can just upload the list of final people that you want to send a letter to, the letter or the postcard, and they'll mail it for you, and then you pay for it with your credit card. Now here's the thing. My letters get up to a 20% response rate. They get up to a 20% response rate, and that is actually, they get up to a 20% response rate. So if you have ever dealt with anything in direct mail, you know that typically direct mail gets, if they're getting, let's say, if they're getting 0.5% or 1% of a successful response rate, they're ecstatic. Now here typically you get about 5 to 20%, 5 to 15, and sometimes 20% response rate. Now this is a killer letter. Now let me ask you, who would like to get access to my letters? What if I would tell you can get access to these letters for free? Well, I'll show you later on how you do that. Number four, the owners call you back. Now when the owners call you back, you can talk to them yourself, or what you can do, you can actually you can also get a 1-800 number. So it's very cheap. So again, it's a step that you can outsource. You don't have to do it yourself. You can get a 1-800 number, have them leave a message. Or you can outsource through a call center. Now the beauty of that is that, first of all, a 1-800 number you can get for as little as $5 or $10 a month. Now, outsourcing to a call center is really cool because what you can do there is they only charge you by the call. So if you take a break, if you go travel the world, you have no calls coming in, you have no expenses. Very, very simple. So you only spend money when you actually make money. That's the way I like to run a business. You don't want to have overhead. You don't want to have something that costs you money while you even whether or not you make money. You only want to have things that when you are active, they cost you a few dollars, but other than that, they cost you nothing. So plus they will call you. And they will pre-qualify themselves. That I love about it, because by calling you, they'll tell you if they just want to know, if they're really interested. They tell you how interested they are, and more than anything, they give you valuable property information. Now, just to show you how easy this is, I want to show you from one of my coaching. I have a coaching site, a coaching program. One of my students here, Stephen S., he just says, "Hey guys, so far I have mailed out 46 letters, 8 more yesterday, it's 56 total, and he got 6 responses." Now that's like somewhere around 13% or something, or since that's not count the 8 because he only sent them out the day before. So 46 letters, got 6 responses, like 13%, one of which came via email, and he states, "Pay my back taxes, you pay all the fees, and the property is yours." Now you get that. Plus the market value is $6,530. Now you get that. That means that he can get the seller doesn't even want to have any money for the property. It just says, pay my back taxes, which in this case were a few $100s, pay all the fees, were perhaps another $100, and the property's yours. So for $300-400, you got that property. Now, even if he turns around and sells that at a discount, quick cash sale, he's still expected profit of $3,000 to $4,000. Now, another case study, Jill Robbins, one of my students also, just basically she sent a letter to owners, and the owners contacted her back, and the owners contacted her back with 6 adjoining lots for a total of 5 acres. So 6 adjoining lots for a total of 5 acres in Texas. The seller did not want the property anymore. The property's appraised for $68,000. Now get me right here. The seller knows this. The seller knows that it's $68,000. The seller just doesn't want the property anymore. The seller was living out of state. The seller knew had this property forever. The seller just thought, you know what, I don't want to deal with it. It's too much hassle. People are moody sometimes, and people sometimes let go of thousands of dollars, of tens of thousands of dollars of stuff just because they don't want to deal with the effort of having to sell it. So basically, he knew it was appraised at $68,000, and he didn't want the property anymore. Here's the killer deal. Jill got these properties for $0. The seller did not want to have any money from it. They just want to get rid of the property. So she paid $0 out of pocket and just assumed some back taxes and fees. It happened to be about $2,500 in back taxes that she had to assume. But get this right. She didn't have to pay them. She had to assume them, meaning that she took the property, she spent nothing out of her own pocket. Now she's selling at a discount of market price for a quick sale of $45,000. Basically, she discounted it by a third, and last I know, she sold, I think, 3 of these properties for $22,000, and the rest probably sold by now too. But how much of a return on investment is it if she put $0 out of pocket? It's infinite.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
Infinite.
Because she's never paid anything for it. So this is the cool thing. So if she sold it at $45,000, she made like $43,000 of it with a personal investment of $0. So the next steps are, back to the steps. Steps number 5 and 6 is you do a quick property checkup and make offers. It's a quick 5-minute property check. You do this online and use tools like maps.google.com. Google.com. Literally, if you look for Google, you look for the subdivision name, you look for the place, for the name of the county, put the word land behind it and stuff. It's very simple to find properties that are comparable in the area. Realtor.com has great information. It's for free. Zillow.com. And then you make an offer of 5 to 25% of market value. It's really that simple. Number 7, you buy the property. I mean, there's really not that much to say about that because that's the easy. That doesn't get much easier than that. It's basically you pass it on to a title company. In some states, an attorney. You can also do it yourself. I've actually done a lot of my closings myself, and I actually can teach you how to do that too. But if you want to start easy, I have many students that say, you know what, I'm first going to focus on just doing the deals, and I'm going to focus on doing my own closings later on, so just pass it on to the title company. And then you do the number 8 step, and I want to go into that a little bit more because I get a lot of questions on those right now. I said, like, Jack, I can understand why people let their properties go. I can understand how you buy them, but how do you sell them? So let's just jump in for a second into selling your property. So in selling your property, there's really the way that I sell my properties. I'm using many different ways, but I typically use only 2 different principles of selling. The first one is cash wholesaling. And this is what I did. When I said that once I figured out my system, I created $1 million in 18 months. This is exactly what I did. And if I would have to build up my business right now from scratch again, I would do exactly this step again. This is exactly what I tell all my students. This is what you got to do when you have little bit of, or almost no cash right now. You have a job and you want to get rid of your job as fast as possible. Cash wholesaling. Number 1. A property's worth, and basically cash wholesaling is you sell something fast at a discount. And here's how it works. Let's say there's a property worth $10,000. With the system that I just explained, you can easily buy this property for $500. So then what you do, instead of selling it for $10K and holding out for several months for somebody to buy it, you sell it very quickly for $5,000. Now, I hope we all agree that at a discount of 50%, you're going to find a buyer fairly fast in any market, right?
Absolutely.
So exactly. So now you buy and sell this property for $5,000. You have a profit of $4,500. Now you take the $4,500 and you buy 9 more properties like that, and you sell each of them for $5,000. So now you have a total of $45,000 in profit. That's the thing, all of these deals. And that's what I did over and over and over and over again. And soon enough, I had enough money in, I told you, it took me until the end of 2002, beginning of 2003 to really figure the system out. I quit my job in October 17th of 2003. So basically in 10 months, I was able to build up enough money to have my life, to basically to put it to the side so I knew that if I would never do another deal, I would have enough cash to just live off that cash that I had for more than a year. So
That's
basically,
awesome.
and that with travel and everything included. So I really put a lot of money up to the side and said, okay, this is now I have built up enough cushion doing that part-time while having a job and traveling and doing all those things. So obviously I wasn't able to really advance that fast, but I was able to do enough deals to put together a year's worth of salary to the side, after taxes, salary up to the side. And then I quit my job, and then literally 8 months later, I was a millionaire because now I had freed up my time. I could triple my efforts. 3 months later, I hired somebody to start taking care of all the stuff that I didn't like to take care of. And they came to my living room. I worked from my living room. And the first employee that I ever had came to driving up to my driveway and working in my living room. We put the desks in there. It's like those stories you tell your grandkids of. So the other way of selling, by the way, then, is what I call seller financing. And seller financing is basically also called installment sale. And basically, it's just to reiterate to summarize the concept, it's basically the following thing: you own a property free and clear. There's no mortgage on it. That's the other beautiful thing is I have in 5,531 deals, I have never dealt with a mortgage because you can afford to buy these properties for cash because you only pay $100, $200, $500 for them, and then you turn them right away. So, but seller financing, now you own this. Let's say the same example. You own this property that's $10,000, worth $10,000, and basically what you do is you allow the buyer to pay only a down payment now and pay the rest over several years in monthly payments. You basically say, hey, you have a property that's worth $10,000, and the buyer says, well, I don't have $10,000. Well, you say, how much do you have? They say, well, I have perhaps $1,000. Okay, good. Give me the $1,000. How much monthly payments can you make a monthly payment of $150 and pay the remaining $9,000? The balance of $9,000, can you pay that over, let's say, 10 years at $150 a month? And they say yes. So that's basically the principle of an installment sale of seller financing. You allow the buyer to pay only the down payment now and pay the rest over several years in monthly payments. Now, the beauty of that is because you're buying so cheap that the property payments often pays for the cost of the property. So if you, in this example, the property you bought it for $500, but you sold it for $10,000 right now. In this example, you sell it for market value, and you're accepting a 10% down payment. Now you got $1,000, but you only paid $500 for the property. So you get all your money back right away plus some, and then the rest is pure profit. And because you have to wait for your extra, in this case $9,000, you have to wait for that many years or several years because it comes in over months and months and months, you are allowed, or actually it's very common, that you actually ask for a quite hefty interest rate. So the other thing. So basically, a low down payment allows you to sell at market value, affordable down payment versus full cash, and you make it up in a higher sales price. So you don't get all the money up front, but now what you're doing is you creating long-lasting, true passive income. And if you remember what I said earlier is the 3 goals. Number 1, make a lot of money. I think I made my point that you can make a lot of money with this. Number 2, that you can put it on autopilot. I showed you the different steps and how you can outsource almost all of them. So you can put almost all of these steps on autopilot and have somebody else take care of it. Number 3, here is where the long-lasting through passive income comes in. Because you are now receiving, in this case, you received the money that you paid for the property right up front, and now you're receiving payments of $150 to $200 for the next 9 to 10 years. And now you can do this again and again and again, and you basically become the bank. Now at this point, let me quickly stop for 1 second. Let me stop for 1 second because I sometimes get the questions, they're like, Jack, that sounds good, but a $150 monthly payment is really not that great, right? Well, let me answer this 2 ways. I mean, some of you might say, well, that's awesome, but some of you perhaps you have already rental properties. Perhaps you're making $500 a property. Perhaps you're making $1,000 a property, or whatever it is. Or you're used to flipping properties, making $10,000 or $20,000 on a property. Well, let me put it this way. Number 1, in many houses, if you get rent, you have positive cash flow of a couple of $100. But what if the tenant doesn't pay? All of a sudden, you are in charge of the mortgage and you have negative cash flow. Well, what happens if the buyer doesn't pay here? The worst thing is you get the property back, you get to keep all the money, and you sell it again. And because you have no mortgage on it and you have all your money back again, actually financially that's the best thing that could happen. But more importantly, I mean, I work with all the people that pay me on monthly payments. I bend over backwards to keep them paying, but still, I mean, technically that's the financially best thing that happens. Now the other thing is, and that's the core point, is one payment of $150 a month is not going to make perhaps a difference in your life. But what if you do this once a month and they last for 10 years? What if you do this once a month of $150, and after a year you have 12 of those? 12 of those is $1,800 a month. Now let me ask you, would $1,800 a month make a difference in your life? Well, for many people it does. What if you do 2 of these deals a month? That's really a hobby. That's a part-time job, doing a part-time business basically, doing 2 of these deals a month. Well, if you do 2 of these deals a month, after a year, you got 24 deals. That's $3,600 $3,600 a month. That's $40,000 a year. How would you like to make an extra $40,000 a year, or working from home, not even having to do anything, but passive coming in for the next? After you do this for 1 year, you have $40,000 coming in a year for the next 7 to 10 years. How would you like that? That's almost
good to me, man.
That's almost $400,000 exactly. So, and the other thing is, there's no limit to how little of the few deals you can make. Perhaps, I mean, statistics show that the difference between a family going bankrupt and not going bankrupt is $200 to $500 a month. That's 2 of these deals, 2 to 3 of these deals. That's it. Now, but on the other hand, there's no limit to how many you can do. If you're a go-getter, and if you want to do 10 a deal, 10 a month, 20 a month, 50 a month, you can do that. And let me show you what I have done. When I've done this, I've created hundreds of these, and I want to show you this. This is a account summary report of my loan servicing software. That's from May 19, 2009. I have 314 active loans right now, adding up to $76,383.67 a month in monthly payments. $76,383.67. Now, this is the power of little payments. This is the power of little payments. And it takes one of my staff members, now I do have staff, but it takes one of my staff members 10 hours a week to maintain this. That's all it takes.
That's not much.
That's not much. And $76,000, I mean, that's a $850,000 business right there, and most of these properties are already paid off. That's pure profit basically coming in. So I want to show you another case. So don't discredit the power of the little kind of monthly cash flows, because they add up dramatically. So here's another case study. My good friend Vince Canone. Vince is a gentleman in his 60s. He's probably the most computer illiterate person I've ever met. He barely knows how to turn on a computer, but that's okay. He's a wonderful guy, and we spend Christmases together, Thanksgivings together, and he comes over with his wife and so on. And so Vince, just a while ago, Vince came to me and says, like, hey, you know what, Jack? I would like to, I know you're in real estate. I would like to start getting into real estate. I think the market conditions are great, and I know you do something about land, so can you show me what you do? And it's like, absolutely. So he came over, we sat together on a Saturday afternoon for about an hour, and I just walked him through the different steps that he needs to take. So he went off on his own, and we're dear friends, but we don't talk every day. So a couple months later, I call him, and it's like, hey, Vince, how are you doing? Are you doing the land business? And he's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing, and he already had bought a couple of properties and so on, but here's his goal. He's like, Vince told me from the beginning, his goal was just to do 5 deals a year. That's all he wanted to do. He loves his job. He loves what he does. He travels a lot around the state of Arizona, but he loves what he does. So he never wanted to quit his job. Well, that's wonderful if you have a job that you really love, but you still might need extra money, and he needed extra money. So therefore, he said he wanted to just have a little bit of extra money. Here's the deal. In 18 months, Vince did 15 deals. That's all he did. In 18 months, he did 15 deals, and these 15 deals made him over $400,000 in cash and equity. Over $400,000
Wow.
in deals. Now, is that good, or is that...
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. So this case study is of one of his deals. Number one, 2.25-acre property 10 miles away from a town of Arizona. So, okay, there's a new houses within 2 or 3 miles from this property. Vince went online and with just using a Google and Realtor.com came to a conclusion within 10 minutes that the property is worth about $25,000. So he offered about, 7% or so. He offered $1,850 for the property. He got it accepted. He then turned around and bought the property. Well, he bought the property and turned around and sold it for $25,000 market value with seller financing. So he got a down payment of 15%, so of $3,750. Now, if you look at that, that's already almost twice as much as what the property cost. So then, plus, he arranged for monthly payments of $319.40 per month for 9 years and 2 months. Now, the down payment alone gave him double his money back, and now he receives over $300, actually $319.40 per month for the next 9+ years. And the beautiful thing here is that because he's charging interest on it, once he has received all the money, because this just happened, so basically he's receiving the money right now, the total amount received at the end of the investment will be $38,884.45 on an investment of $1,850, of which he already got $3,700 back. So he's already in the money. It's pure profit.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
So this is what this system is able to do for me and for my students. So the key here is, somebody said, and I don't know who, the money is made when you buy and only realized when you sell. So the key is in the buying. Walmart doesn't make money because they magically sell so low. Walmart makes money because they buy him lower. Warren Buffett says, never buy retail. Always have a built-in margin of safety, basically a buffer. And the result is, if you buy for 5 to 25% of market value, you make money in every market, in any market. I mean, look at the real estate industry. The real estate industry right now, house prices in many areas, Arizona, one of the hardest hit ones, went down 50% some areas. Just cut in half. In some areas, more than cut in half. But what is it, if you buy for 5 or 10 or 15% of market value, what does it matter? Even if if you buy right now at the 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% of current market value, even if the market gets cut in half again, you're still going to make money. You're still going to be virtually guaranteed to make your money back and make some profit. So this is the cool thing about it. So in summary, I've shown you how this low risk, because you can buy, this investment allows you to buy properties with low risk, this technique, because you only have to spend a few $100s. You only have a few $100s at stake. You don't put your life savings on the line. You don't need to also know about much about real estate. If you focus on land, you don't have to know about toilets. You don't have to know about termites. You don't have to know about trusses and insulation and drywall and all this kind of stuff that I know nothing about. You just buy the land and you turn around and sell it. It works anywhere and everywhere in the U.S. It can be done from anywhere in the world. In your introduction, you mentioned that that I have students in Italy and in New Zealand. That's absolutely right. I have a student in New Zealand that virtually has outsourced everything. He sends his letters out. He gets the lists online from the county. He has them. I process them for them. He has them sent to via click to mail. He has a answering service answering for them. He basically just waits for the phone calls to be delivered to him. He does this little analysis, 10 minutes, and then he makes an offer, which again he sends out to click to mail. So this is as simple as it goes. The property analysis can be done from home. There's little or no competition because nobody knows about it. Everyone runs down the way of the tax lien and tax deed auctions, hitting each other, like basically fighting with each other, or competing with each other, that's what I mean, over these properties, when all you need to do is take that little side step and you can circumvent this entire situation and buy with little or no competition directly from the owners, with free and clear title, with title insurance, et cetera, et cetera. There's large profits possible. And when I realized, this is the point when I decided to share this and to teach this, when I realized that I can't ever even scratch the surface of what's possible in this market. I mean, I started it myself part-time. This is how I designed the system. I designed the system such that you can do it part-time, you can do it full-time, you can do it with staff, whatever you want. You can adjust the system such that it works for you. And but I realized that even now I have staff, and we're running at 100 miles an hour. We're buying and selling as many properties as we can get our hands on, and I realized that I can't even scratch the surface of what's possible in this market. I mean, I'm operating like 5 states, and I don't even see other competitors, even though there might be a few people, even my students in the same areas. We don't even come across each other. There's so little competition. But when I realized I realized that I need to share this. I need to share this with the world, because it's going to be 10, 20 years before there's any kind of level of competition here. When I needed to share this. Now, I have a question for you, basically, and that is, who wants to have a system to duplicate my exact results over and over again? Well, for those of you
everybody better have their hands raised.
Well, exactly. So for those of you, this is something very special for you. I have something very special for just a few of you, for the few go-getters, for the few people that say, yes, I do want to make this year, the year that I say, you know what, a recession back and forth, I'm just not going to participate in a recession. That's what I said to myself. That's what many of my students say to themselves. Just decide for yourself not to participate in this recession and make this the best year out here. So what I have is I have a home study course, a home study system. It's a 3 step-by-step systems in one. It is basically 14 CDs teaching you my exact land profit formula, plus it's 5 CDs teaching you the tax lien and tax deed stuff, because I still do it a little bit. I like it still, but I do it a different way than anyone else teaches. I do it a different way which also allows me to massively increase my chances of success, massively increases my chances of getting to the goal that you want to have, and I lay out exactly what goal do you have. Based on the goal, I give you a path that you need to go down. I have that in 5 CDs. I have obviously 14 CDs with exactly my home study, my land profit formula, exactly the system we just went through. It's a step-by-step guide. It includes a quick start guide. It includes a CD. It's called 26 Ways of Selling. It includes an interview with my personal tax CPA. It includes an interview with a land trust expert. It has a 2-volume workbook. So if you like to learn listening, you can listen to the CDs. If you learn better reading, you can read the book. And actually, the Turks links that. This typically, if you go to my webpage, you can buy it for $1,997. But here's what you get, only tonight, here's what you get with it. You get with it a call processing software. This is a powerful piece of software that ensures that all questions are asked. You know, when I told you when the sellers call you back, if you take your own phone calls, you can make sure that all the questions are asked. It tracks each property call coming in. No more forgetting questions. No more, I should have asked him this, I should have asked him that. You know exactly. You go step by step to question. If you hire a call center to do it, you can hand them the software, you can hand them the questions, and they'll ask them for you. It captures the caller property information for an easy offer generation, and then you have a one-button click that generates an offer template, and then you basically can do that yourself, or give it to a virtual assistant, and then make the offers very fast and easy out of that software. Plus, you get free lifetime upgrades. That alone has a value of $497. Now, you also get, I told you how you can get all my letters and things. Well, here's the thing. With this system you get for free all my letters, 5 different letters that I've tested over the years that get up to 20% in response rates. You get all my legal documents, all my contracts, all my sale agreement, all my land contracts, my offer templates, a special offer insert that really boosts your response rates and your acceptance rates. I've literally spent tens of thousands of dollars and time and effort and legal fees to have them created for me. So the value of that is $10,000. If you would want to recreate that, you'll have to spend way more than $10,000 with an attorney. So in sum, what we have right now, we have these 3 items: the land profit formula course, the call tracking software, and all my letters of contract forms, all the things. So, but what I also have, this is brand new, and this is what's called MOBs, Masses of Buyers. I just created a special program that focuses in about 8 to 9 hours of online video. You get instant access to my membership program of, it's a membership site. You get instant forever access to this site that's my newest training program on finding masses of buyers. How to find more buyers for your land than you can handle. How to find more buyers than you can handle. How do you have them literally knocking on your door? Now, I have used this, and just in the month of June, obviously there's online techniques and offline techniques, but just in the month of June, I have used this to personally sell 27 properties in 1 month, just using these techniques here. 27 properties in 1 month. Now, there's offline techniques, online techniques. There's also a special module on social networking marketing, in detail how you can leverage this growing thing of social marketing to actually get masses of buyers to come to you and rip those properties out of your hands. There's over 20 different techniques to get buyers, secret techniques even that nobody talks about. This has a value right now. It's not even available to the public right now. It's a value of $347, this program alone. Now, here's a killer one. Many times my students, or when I go and buy programs, people tell me like, yeah, you get like 30 days of email support or so. It's like, what if I need access to support afterwards? I mean, what if I need support once I'm halfway down the road? Now, I don't want to have only 30 days. So what I did is I give you unlimited customer support. I have a 24-hour customer service and for my Land for Pennies, Land Profit Formula products. I have a customer service system. I have a dedicated team for customer service. There's no limits to the numbers of questions that you can ask to our online support center. There's no time limit. For as long as I teach this, and I'm planning to teach this for many years to come, you have the right to ask questions and get customer support. If you have questions today, we will answer. If you have questions 5 years from now, we will answer. That is basically my promise to you. The value of that, I mean, what's really the value of that? It's really priceless, right? Because no matter when you have a question, you'll be able to get an answer to it. You'll be able to get support. So what we have is all the stuff that I mentioned earlier right now, plus the MOPS program, the massive buyers, and the unlimited customer support. So, but it goes on. There's more. What is more is here's my 30-day. You get 30 days free access to my gold membership. Remember those notices that I showed you earlier about sending 46 letters? Well, this is what you get in there. There's an extremely active, very active members forum. Basically allows you to meet with your peers, to search past and start new discussions, to get answers, and sometimes in minutes, by your peers and by me often, because I go in there often and I answer questions and so on. That's one of the biggest features on it. There's a members forum that you own, that you have access there, that you can ask questions and get peer reviews and peer thing. And what I really am most proud about is that I created a spirit of cooperation in there. That's really about, there's no competition, there's only cooperation. So you have a brand new member come in, ask a question, and you have people that already done dozens of deals answer those questions and really guide them along. You have me come in, answer those questions. It's really a spirit of cooperation. Everyone wants to help everyone else to get successful. So this is what I really love about it. Plus, you get the CD of the month for free. This is usually a pay-for system. I upload it there. You can listen to it and download it from there. You get access to my $1 Million Rolodex, all my contacts, all my contractors, and so you get there. Plus, free skip search. This skip trace, this is really worth gold because when you send out these letters and postcards, what you often get is undeliverables. Now, undeliverables, let's think about this for just a second. If somebody doesn't get their property, if somebody has moved away and hasn't left an address behind, and you're using the address the county has, and you get an undeliverable, that means that if you can't get a hold of them, the county can't get a hold of them either. Chances are they perhaps forgot about their property, or chances are they haven't paid their property taxes, and therefore, all it would take basically is for you, if you could only find these people, they are prime candidates to buy the properties from, because if the owners care that little about them that they actually go and not even update their mailing address, then chances are they don't want the property anymore. So you can, but what I'll have for you is basically you get 100 skip traces a month for free on this thing that you just send in the list, and I'll process them for you and I send them back to you. And I have a promise that I give you in writing whatever way you want. I will not use these records for myself. I will not use any list that you give me yourself. I am just there to help you succeed. So basically, you send me a list for me to process. Actually, by the way, if you do this, you also get your first list for free, and as a gold member, you get an extra list for free, and this is how you can process these lists for free. So, but you get 100 skip traces for 100 skip traces a month that we process you for free. Typically, I charge $5 a skip trace for that, but you get that for free. And this is a killer bonus side. Now, all the stuff that's in there, archives of seminars, of webinars, of videos, of things like that, is worth, and all these different things, all the content that's in there is worth easily $5,997. But you get it for free for 30 days, and then there's only a $97 a month charge for that. Plus I forgot, there's a live Q&A and mastermind calls. We do monthly live Q&A calls. We do mastermind calls. We do a lot of things together. Basically, it's my ongoing membership program my ongoing membership and coaching program that allows you to stay in touch with your peers and with me, and allows you to keep being motivated to continue and keep being motivated to get deals done and motivate each other and really have a great time doing this together, because investing can get lonely if you're alone out there. If you're just doing your thing and you're alone, you're doing so on, then it's great to have like a peer group that does the same thing that you do. So this is that. So let me quickly read something else to you. Here's what I just literally got a week ago. I just added this to my presentation yesterday. So from Landmark is his name. So I was like, I learned an important lesson this past week. It's like, this is just a recent posting there, and I answered to it. Just says, I learned an important lesson this last week. Most of us are familiar with those mysterious missed calls that show up on our cell phone, right? Those people who call but never leave voicemails. Should we call these numbers back or ignore them? After all, wouldn't they just leave a voicemail if it were interested? 2 weeks ago, I decided to call back of these missed calls. I turned out to be someone who was interested in the property I had posted on Craigslist. So he's just selling his properties easily on Craigslist. Wow. He seems very interested, and although he lived out of state, he hasn't seen the property, he decided to send me a cashier's check for $6,900. Just like that, I had a profit of almost $7,000 for a property I had bought for $150. This obviously wouldn't have happened if I hadn't called back the mysterious call. So my point is not really that he called him back. My point is he bought a property for $150 and sold it to Craigslist for $6,900. That's a $6,700 profit just last week. This has taught me anything that will always call back. So here's the thing. But just wanted to show you a little basically success story here from my member side. So plus what you also get is you get access to my 21,791 land buyers. Over the years, I've built up a massive list of land buyers, a massive list of buyers. I've built a large database of land buyers. I send them weekly emails with properties for sale. I just sold 6 properties in 2 emails and 19 properties in 3 weeks and 27 properties in 7 weeks. I will add, here's my offer to you, I will add your properties to my land buyers newsletter. That means you don't have to build up your own buyers list. You should at the same time, but you don't have to. You can sell your properties through my network at no cost to you. I don't charge for that. It's for free. I don't offer that to anyone else, but to my premier customers. And it's not limited in number and time. It doesn't matter. It's not the first 3. It's not the first 5. As many as you want to, you can sell through my list. Now, the value of that is easily, if you just sell 5 or 10 properties, it's easily $10,000. Now, one more, you get your own selling webpage, because at the end of the day, you want to have a webpage for yourself. Now, I know that it's a daunting task. That's why I made it very, very simple. You get your own selling webpage. It's a fully working selling webpage. There's no setup cost. There's no maintenance effort. There's no maintenance cost. You use it to post and sell your properties. You get additional exposure for your properties. You get everything for free. You don't have to do anything about it other than choose a name and basically fill out one questionnaire, and then they do everything for you. The value of that typically is $2,000. Well, I got an inside track to that. You can get that for free. So in total, what we have here is we have the land profit formula course, the call tracking software, the LiDAR's contract forms, the MOPS program, the Master Suppliers program, the unlimited customer support, incredible, the gold coaching program, the buyer's list, and your own selling webpage. This adds up to a total value of $30,838. Now, my question to you is really the following. What is freedom worth? What is freedom worth? What is it worth to you to be, what is it worth to you to be able to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if my job goes down the drain. It doesn't matter if the company lays off another 500 people, because I'm on the way to take charge of my family. I'm on the way to reach what I'm born to do, to fulfill my own American dream. It's not necessary. You have an advantage over me. I had to come here, learn the language and all those things. You don't have to do those things. You already know the language. You already know the way the country works. You already know all the terminology. You don't have to learn the word drywall from anyone or the word deed from anyone. You already know that stuff. So it's much easier for you than it was for me. So what is it worth for you to do that step and get your own freedom? Well, we have already established the value of this, the real market value, real world value of this entire system. Offer everything I gave you is $30,838. Well, I'm not going to charge you that, you know that. But how about we do it 16? Or what if let's just go quick through that. I'm not going to do 60, not even 8, not even $4,000. We will all agree that probably all the stuff that I'm giving you is worth $4,000, right?
Easy.
So how about we do that? $1997. That's the value of just the home study course without even the bonuses. But we're not going to do that either. What we're going to do is, for the special webinar right now, we're going to do that. $997. That's how simple it is. $997, that's it. So let me show you again. It's worth $30,833. All the stuff that I just showed you for $997. And the thing is, I have a special something, so but for you to get that, go to www.reisecrets.com/offer. Go to www.reisecrets.com/offer. Or call, you can also call, you can call the office at 888-298-6345. Again, 888-298-6345. And I actually have a special, even one more thing, for the first 12 only. For the first 12 who order, for the first 12 and only the first 12, what I'll throw in is the following. My Land for Pennies Live DVD set. I had a big seminar that I did that's only one time done last year in October, so actually November, so it's just a few months old, that was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was a 3-day live event, and I have it professionally recorded, edited, and produced into DVDs. It's a DVD set. The seminar typically sells for $3,000. Now, the DVDs alone I typically sell them. They're not on the market right now, but occasionally I do put them on the market for basically $2,000, just the DVD set. Now, for right now, for only the first 12 who order, you get this full DVD set in addition to everything you just saw. Each DVD is labeled with chapters and subjects discussed. It's like having me in your living room. It's literally like having me in your living room. Now, I hope that's a good thing. So So in summary, now we have the Land Profit Formula course, the call tracking software, the letters contract forms, the MOPS program, the Master Suppliers program, the Customer Support Unlimited, access to my Gold Coaching program, the list, selling your property, my land buyers list, your own selling webpage, the 3-day live seminar DVD set. That adds up to $32,835. You can get it for only $997. Now, you go by going to www.reisecrets.com/offer. www.reisecrets.com/offer, or call 888-298-6345. Now, one more thing here. What do all of these guys have in common? Ron LeGrand, Lou Brown, Stacey Kellums, Corey Boatwright, Heather Sides, Karen McKinney, Alex Neem, Peter Conti, Mark Walters, Terry Weichler, and so on. We go on, Brad Wozni, Tim Mai, Gerald Ramin, Darius, Graham Treacle, Steve Cook, Lou Castillo, Mike Collins, Michael Kimball, and so on. And even they, what do they have in common? They all have in common that all of these well-known real estate investors either own my system or have dedicated somebody in their system to actually do my system. Either own my system or do my system. And as a matter of fact, I mean, I even one of my land deals even made it into a book. It made it into Ron LeGrand's book. Then another thing here. So you remember early on this guy that sent only 46 letters? Well, he just a couple of days afterwards sent another posted another thing on my gold member site that says, "Wow, I just got a call earlier today informing me that my offer had been accepted and the signed contract was in the mail coming back to me. My second straight-up contract out of 46 letters that he sent. Market value $12,370. Offer 11% of market value, $1,360.65. Again, it's reisecrets.com/offer. Obviously, my program is backed up by 100% money-back guarantee. 30 days, very simple. If you don't think the system is great, you'll refund your money back, period. Just make sure you send it back within the 30 days that it arrives here. And so in summary, we have this. We have the full system. It's $32,835. For the first 12, you get it for $997, plus you can even split it into two payments of $597 each. So that's really, if you want to repeat the website, because it's my
absolutely, Jack. That man, I can't. You gave him more stuff than you even told me and my staff that you were going to give him, man. You threw in even more stuff. That's awesome. And again, that's a brain dead offer. All that for $997. It's absolutely brain dead simple. You want to do it. You want to be one of the first 12. And by the way, Jack, 6 orders have already come in. So
that's awesome.
If you want to be one of the first 12, you better get your order in quick and get those DVDs of the boot camp. The DVDs of the boot camp are worth the $997 alone. There's no doubt about it. This is an absolutely no-brainer deal. Again, go to reisecrets.com/offer, or you can give us a call at 888-298-6345. And the lines are lit up right now. Both the lines here in the office are lit up. The girls are already on the line taking questions, answering stuff. So the fastest way to get your order in, if you want to be one of the first 12, is just to go to the website at reisecrets.com/offer. And by the way, if you call and you get voicemail when you call in, that just means that all the people in the office are on the line. So leave a voicemail. It'll be time-stamped. We'll check it and leave us the best contact number to reach you back at and the best time to call you back. But again, if you want to get your order in the fastest, just do it on the website. And 2 more orders just came in. We're up to 8 orders now. So 8 of the first 12 are already gone. So go to reisecrets.com/offer. And you don't have to call in and ask if you're one of the first 12. The website is coded so that when the first 12 are gone, a little pop-up will appear and say, sorry, the first 12 spots have already been taken. So if you don't see that pop-up, you don't have to worry about calling in. So again, go to reisecrets.com/offer or call us at 888-298-6345. And Jack, I can't believe how much you're giving. You're giving them the call software. That's awesome, because they're going to know exactly what to say when their phone starts ringing. And the thing that I love about your system is, much like my system, your letters get through to the people they need to get through to. You're not out there fighting with a bunch of other competition. You're getting straight through to the person who is the decision maker, and that's why your phone rings, and that's why you need to throw in the call software to show them exactly what to say once their phone starts ringing. And like you said, if they don't want to answer the phone, they don't even have to answer the phone. You can show them how to automate that. And then you're going to throw in your letters, your contracts, your forms, everything that they need, the membership access to your website. That's absolutely priceless. Really, it is. I mean, to be able to go in there and see a little message from like the message you showed from the guy who said, "Hey, I just decided to call back one of the people who didn't leave a message one day, and I did a deal from it." That's priceless. How do you put a price on that? You really can't. You're learning from people who've gone before you, people who've already blazed the trails, people who've walked the path that you want to walk, and it just makes your learning curve go straight up. And then, of course, you've also got access to Jack in there. You're getting your own website, which, believe me, he's saying is worth $2,000. It's worth more than that to have a professional website. You're getting the 3-day seminar on DVD. It's an amazing package, Jackie, and thank you so much for putting this together for us. I really do appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I think I really, yeah, I know I put a few extra things in there because I just think that that right now is the time to buy land and to sell land because it's, I mean, we're in an overcorrection of the market. It doesn't get much cheaper than now. So right now is the time to start it and just to start the business. It's always the best part, and it's really there. I see so many families hurting, and so many families in their situation of where they like lost a job or something, or they're afraid of losing a job. I mean, that's the situation I was in there, and I think that's right now. If you're not in that situation, you shouldn't wait for that to get into the situation. If you are in that situation, you shouldn't wait either. You need to get going. You need to have Plan B.
Absolutely. And you said something at the beginning of the call that really resonated with me, and you just reminded me of it again about how people think that having a job means you have security, and nothing could be further from the truth, especially in this current environment. I've told a lot of people this story. I don't know if you know this, Jack, but when I was in high school, I watched my grandfather get laid off from a job, which laid off is just another fancy word for being fired. He was only 2 years away from his retirement. He had been with the company for decades. He was only 2 years away from receiving full retirement, and they didn't want him to receive his full retirement, so they fired him a couple years before they had to give him his full retirement, and it just absolutely devastated him. I watched what it did to him financially and emotionally, and it had such an impact on me at such an early age. Like I said, I was in high school. I remember saying to myself, I am never going to give anybody that kind of power over my life. And while, yes, we all need jobs, and if you have a job right now, I'm not saying that's wrong. You've got to start where you are. But just understand that having a job does not mean you are secure. You can be let go at any time. And like Jack said, you've got to have a Plan B, and Jack's system is an excellent Plan B. So, again, go ahead and get your order in. Go right now to reisecrets.com/offer, or give us a call at 888-298-6345. And the MOB program, that's one of the things you didn't even tell me about. I think you said it's brand new. I was surprised. I mean, you're going to show them how to get tons of buyers to sell these things in literally days, not weeks or months.
That's exactly right, and that's basically, I have in my home study course, I have 26 different ways of selling, but here I'm really going into a video-based thing and showing people exactly step by step what they need to do to actually drive massive amounts of people to your listings wherever they are. Whether you have them on wherever webpage you have them, or if you just have them in paper or to your phone number, wherever you want to drive them, but massive amount of interested people there, and it's really a cool program. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, it's awesome, and what so many people don't understand when they're just getting started, and I remember thinking this myself, and I'm sure you probably remember thinking in the early days, you think it's all about buying the deal. It's all about buying the deal right. Well, that's so not true. Jack and I can show you how to buy deals for pennies on the dollar all day long, but it's being able to turn around and sell those properties fast. You don't get paid until you sell them. If you don't have a system for selling them with lightning speed, then you're not going to get paid, and that's exactly what Jack's MOB program is all about, and I think it's phenomenal that you put it in there because it's so important.
I agree.
So again, guys, go to reisecrets.com/offer right now. The orders are still coming in. Jack, we may have to hit you up for a couple more of those DVD sets. We're already up to 10 or 11 of the first 12 have already been gone. But
All right. Yeah, I think, well, that's exciting. I mean, I'm excited about that. But, yeah, I don't want to, if anyone's sitting out there saying, like, you know what, I really want it, but if I can't get the DVD set, I won't buy it. Well, I would, that's just so, I'll just double the number. That's just because, because.
Well, thank you.
Because you
Wow,
asked me,
that's
basically.
awesome. I wasn't expecting you to do that. I was going to ask you for like 5 or 6 more. I didn't want you to double it, but hey, as much as you've thrown in, that's a very generous offer. So, so there's 20. Well, there's 12 more left because there's at least 12 orders that have come in right now. So there's 12 more left. So get off of the fence, and you're never going to make any money sitting on the fence. Get off the fence right now. This is a brain-dead, simple decision. Go to reisecrets.com/offer or give us a call at 888-298-6345 right now, and you can thank us later. Seriously, just do it, and you can write Jack and myself and thank us later. You're gonna love being a part of a system where there's so little competition and there's so much fast money to be made. And those are the exact type of systems that I want to show my people, Jack. So thank you so much for taking time away from your friends and family today to share this information with us. I took a ton of notes. If I took notes, I know they took notes. And so thank you so much, Jack, for sharing this valuable system with us today.
You're very welcome. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm honored to be here to have gotten a chance to share with the system, because that's, at the end of the day, it's all about. Once you reach a certain point, it's like, no, you gotta share that, and the best days in my week now are the ones where I get these kind of notes, like, hey, I got this phone call back, and the guy sent me $7,000. It's like, yeah, I jump around the office, and everyone is all, and it's like, hey, did you see it? Wow, because that's where I take my juice out of now, off the success of others and my system.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more. It's awesome being able to know that you played a small role in helping someone else achieve their financial goals. I know what that means to you. That's one of the reasons I do it, to watch people's eyes light up when everything finally clicks for them and they start making more money than they've ever made before. It's just an amazing feeling, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Again, don't let this opportunity slip by. We're not going to leave this open for very long. I think Jack said like 72 hours. Is that all you're going to allow us to leave this offer open at this price, Jack?
I believe so, yes.
So it's not going to be around forever. Get off the fence. Take action. Be a decision maker. People who make lots of money, take action. And like you said, you showed the list of everybody who has your system. You're exactly right. I'm one of those people as well. And everyone you showed on that list, the reason they're on that list is because they take action and they don't let a great opportunity pass them by. Again, go to reisecrets.com/offer or call us at 888-298-6345. Jack, orders are still coming in, guys. There's less than 12 of those DVDs left even after he doubled them. Thank you so much again, Jack. And you're not going to be able to see this, Jack. I'm going to pop open my webcam real quick and say good night to everybody. Good night, everyone. Thanks so much for being on the call and taking time away from your friends and family and being here to get this wonderful information. So good night, everyone. Good night, Jack. And can't wait to talk to you again real soon, Jack.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.